it's Jessii Vee, and I am so colorful today. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you some very scary true stories about strange encounters that people have had. This could be with paranormal things, with creatures, animals, people, just overall very strange encounters. And trust me, you never want any of this stuff to happen to you. Before I get started though, if you could see, I am wearing the dandelion wish necklace that I made. When I was a kid, I would always catch these and then I would hold it in my hand and make a wish and let it blow away. So I thought I would make necklaces with dandelion wishes inside so that when you get it delivered to you, you can make a wish and always keep it around your neck. So if you guys would like one of these dandelion wish necklaces, I will link it down below. There's only a group of them left. They're already selling out so quickly, so thank you guys so much. But yeah, I will link it down below for you. Alright guys, so let's get into the first true story. This is called the SpiderLike Creature. This is about a group of paranormal investigators that were exploring an abandoned building. They said that the minute you stepped into that place, you could feel an overwhelming sense of dread. Now, they were all on the first floor when they saw this large black spider-like creature appear in front of them, and apparently it looked like two hands stuck together, and they said it moved like Thing from the Addams Family. It just sort of like scurried around and ran over their feet, and then it quickly disappeared into an opening underneath a cabinet, and they all tried to run out of the room, but the door quickly closed and actually locked them in, so they had to kick the door down to get out of the building. Now this is an experience they will never forget, obviously. Imagine seeing like two pairs of hands running around on the floor. Maybe it's some kind of bug that looks like human hands. I mean, tarantulas are the size of human hands. But yeah, overall terrifying experience. This next one is called Something Wrong with the Substitute Teacher. This is a story about this student named Tara who was convinced that her supply teacher was hiding something very dark. One day she showed up to class. Her name was Mrs. Matheta, and she didn't tell anyone why their actual teacher wasn't there. She just said that she'll be away for a couple months. No real explanation. Now, there was a few things that Tara found very suspicious about Mrs. Matheta. The first thing is that she only talked in whispers and had a very serious expression. The second was that she was never seen eating any food. She didn't have lunch breaks, she didn't have snacks, she didn't participate in class pizza parties. And the third thing was that every few days, someone in the school would go missing, whether it be a student or a teacher. And Mrs. Matheta just said that there was a strange flu going around and a lot of people were getting sick and missing school. One evening, Tara had to stay at the school late because she had a basketball practice. When she was finished, she walked out to the school parking lot looking for her dad's car. That's when she saw Mrs. Matheta sitting alone in her car. She was eating something, and it sort of looked like the silhouette of a turkey leg. She suddenly looked up at her rearview mirror and caught eyes with Tara. This sent a chill down Tara's spine because she noticed that her eyes were glowing white. I have to sneeze. I think that's it. Oh. The next week, her school was in the news because too many people had gone missing and there was no explanation. And then Mrs. Matheta ended up completely disappearing. After the school became swarmed with cameras and news anchors, she just stopped coming to class. And no one knew where she went either. Now, Tara always wondered what the cause of the missing teachers and students was, and she didn't get her answer until 5 years later, when she realized what Mrs. Matheta's name spelled backwards. And that's the end of the story. So if you change the lettering of Mrs. Matheta's name and put it backwards, it's ate them. So that's cool. I feel like this story was kind of obvious. Like, as I was reading it, I was like, oh, she's probably like a vampire or some sort of monster creature eating everybody in the school. But this is supposed to be a true story, so maybe like that was just all in her head. I don't really know. Next, we have a story called Man at a Table. A group of friends went to a cave in the middle of nowhere at night. They found it by driving down all of these unused roads that looked like they hadn't been maintained in years. Now, when they arrived at the cave, they were kind of surprised to see a car already parked there, right near the entrance, but they didn't really think too much about it. After going through this cramped cave for about an hour, crawling around on their stomachs, they ended up in this giant circular room, and they noticed this flickering light in the darkness over in the corner. When they looked over, to their surprise, they saw this man sitting at a foldable table, and it was covered in candles and all kinds of other things. They couldn't even tell what they were, and he was just rocking back and forth, humming and chanting. So they all ran out of there and left and never went back. And I feel like this is a really believable story. Like, a lot of people go to like forests and caves to like do all kinds of spells and all kinds of rituals and stuff like that. So that's freaky. I would never want to like encounter something like that. And lastly, we have a story called A Box of Ghostly Photos. This is a story about another group of friends that went to an abandoned house one night to do a photo shoot. Now, the house was incredibly broken down. Entire walls were missing and exposing the inside, floors were broken, and lots of junk was everywhere. They just saw that there was a lot of crates of old belongings, and there was this one crate that had hundreds of photos. The thing is, all of these photos were of the same exact girl. It showed her as a child all the way up to adulthood. Now, they were black and white, developed from film, and the thing is, it was always just this one girl. There was no one else ever in the photos with her. They also thought it was strange that the old owners just left the house and left all these photos of this girl. Like, the photos look so important, why wouldn't they have taken them with them? But the more they looked at the photos, the more they realized that the girl looked very sad. In fact, she almost looked miserable. So they got really uncomfortable, and they all decided to leave and abandon the photo shoot. So they left the house feeling very confused and had this sense of dread because they felt like something was really wrong with this girl in the photos. And yeah, that's how that ends. So I feel like pretty much all of these stories are pretty believable because the first one could have been like a giant creepy spider that looked like it was hands. I feel like the teacher one was probably the most creepypasta-esque one. But comment down below if you've ever had a really creepy encounter. I love to read all of your stories as well. And yeah, don't forget, if you guys would like a dandelion wish necklace, I have linked it down below. But I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!